Welcome to Yoga with Cynthia. I'm Cynthia Bialik, and both the host and the producer for this program. Irene Faithful is faithfully with me for another one of our shows. Today is Yava Yoga Mat Flow, and it's probably our 10th or 12th in a series. And we try to present different combinations to make your mat flow enjoyable and to think about moving in different ways. But we always want to remember our bandhas, and we always want to remember to listen to our bodies, because no two people move the same. We're all built differently. So it's important as we flow through the poses today, through each asana, that you really listen to what your body's telling you. We'll do things on the right and left side, and you may discover that one side your body flows very comfortably, and the other side you feel like there's a hiccup or you feel like you're catching. Please don't push through that. That's a threshold point that you don't want to pass through. You want to just listen to the body, breathe as deeply, exhale as completely as you can, and work through those areas. So where we're going to start was a thorough warm-up, and we're actually going to start by moving the spine in all the directions it can go in. I want you first to move front and back, just rounding the shoulders, then lifting the chest. So every time we lift the chest, we're going to take deep breaths. Every time we fold forward, we're going to exhale. Just inhale here and exhale. And then we're going to try to anchor onto our sitting bones and move around to the right side of our mat and then to the left. Now you may find the hips drop a little bit here, or you may find that those hips restrict your movement. Don't worry, we're just warming up the body. Just see what happens with the flow. Let's go the other way. Moving around to the left first. And then we're going to do some butterflies. Let's bring those legs in, round out the shoulders, tuck your chin. And then on the inhale, open your wings, lift your chest, stretch the chest and shoulders. Draw the knees in, stretch the spine, tuck your chin into the chest, stretch the neck and the erector spinae muscles, lift the rib cage, stretch the chest, stretch the abs, round the spine. 2 more times like that. Open into a butterfly, exhale and close your butterfly. And one more time, inhale and lift. Exhale and round that spine. Now interlace your fingers in Junipa Mudra here. Let's bring the arms up in the air. Now, we're going to bring those hands back behind the hips. Lift your chest as high as you can. Pull your shoulders back. Slide your right leg onto your left hip. And just bring that left elbow against that right leg. Swing your right arm forward and open to the back. Open the chest as much as you can. And now bring that arm back up and lift the chest in the air. Take your left arm behind your left hip. Take your right arm over to the outside of your left leg. So if you push gently against that left knee, you'll feel a greater stretch in that low back. Just take your focus over there. And let's come back to center, and let's try the same thing on the other side. Take your left leg onto your right hip. Turn to the left and bring your right elbow on the inside of your right knee. Look over your left shoulder. And then we're going to take that right arm behind your hip. Take your left elbow on the outside of your right knee, getting that greater stretch in the low back, also stretching the lats. Now we're going to take a moment to isolate the back muscles. So you're going to stabilize with your back. So you're going to keep your back in extension while we strengthen those quads. So we're going to come up onto the balls of your feet and then press out with your heels, tap down with your toes. So Right here, we're dorsiflexing the feet, pushing the heels forward, and then we're plantar flexing by pushing down into the balls of the feet. Push out through the heels. Now, if you can, start to straighten those legs. Take them up a little higher, then down. Flex your feet, push up, and down. So we're moving into a supported boat pose, using the strength of the back. 2 more times like that while we strengthen those quads. Now, some of you may want to wrap your hands around those legs and support your pose here. Now, open the toes, pressing through the balls and the heels of our feet as we stabilize. If you feel you're able to, you can bring your arms up in the air. Now, come on down. And we're going to take that right leg across the front of your mat. We're going to swing that left leg out to the side. Flex your foot there. Take your left arm in the air. And we're going to reach over and grab your right knee. Pull back with your left shoulder and reach over towards your left leg. Some of you may be able to continue over there and grab the toes. And now come back up. And we're going to slide that left leg onto the mat. We're going to rotate our hip in. And we're going to come up on our right shin and extend back over the mat. Look down at your right hand as you stretch the lats on that side, leaning back as far as you can, lifting the rib cage. Then look up underneath that left shoulder. Modified side arm balance. If you want a little bit more challenge, you can take your right leg out in front. Now come back, and we're going to do another Janusirsasana. Slide your left leg out. Bring your left arm over to your right knee. Bring your right arm up, and lean to your left. And one more time to Vastasana. Bring that right arm back. Slide your left foot to the mat. Come up on your right shin. And look over. Your right shoulder. Open your left hand wide. And if you feel you're able to, slide your right leg out. Look under your left shoulder. And return to the mat. Now at this time, we're going to bring that left leg in, grab the bottom of your foot, and start to bring that left leg up in the air. Point and flex your foot again, dorsiflexing and plantar flexing the foot. And just as we warmed up in our Janusirsasana, we're going to work on compass pose. So take your left leg under your armpit, so the left knee comes under the armpit. You're going to slide your left arm on the front of that leg, grab your left big toe, and rotate. Look up onto your right shoulder there. Deepen your breaths. Now slide your heel down, keep your left hand where it is, and just bind around that left hip and look over the right shoulder. Now take your left leg over to your right hip. Take your left arm back and try to reach for that left foot from behind. Take your right arm over and grab your right foot. Look over that left shoulder and our half lotus. Deepen the breaths as you pull up through the crown of your head and twist as far around as you feel comfortable. Now release those toes, come back around, and take your right leg out to the side. We're going to go through that same sequence again on this side. Take your right arm in the air and grab that left knee. Lift your left arm, lean back into the right shoulder. Come back up, rotate your right hip in, come up on your left shin. Look over your left shoulder, and if you feel you're able, you can slide that left leg out. Then look underneath your right shoulder. Continue your breaths. Have a seat. Right leg out. Right arm over. And rotate back. Look up in the air. And once more on that side arm balance. Come back around. Lift those hips off the ground. Sliding that leg out. If you can, look up. Come back to center here. And we're going to slide that right leg in. Take your arm in the air. Grab the bottom of that foot and lift that leg up. Stretching the shoulders apart. So pulling the shoulder blades away from the midline of the body, then start to retract your knee. And we're going to move into compass pose on this side. Grab that big toe. And if you can, look onto your left. And keep your right arm where it is. As you drop your right leg, just reach back into a simple bind, looking over the left shoulder. Open the chest as much as you can. Now as you come down, grab that right leg. Bring it over your left hip. Take your right arm back. Left arm over. Look over your right shoulder. Deepen your breaths. And come back to center. So we're going to come up onto our toes. Heels in. And some of you may want to just stabilize your body using your hands. If you can, bring your hands off the mat. Now some of us will be going into crow. Crow is nice and low, and if you're on a carpet, you may not have the same fear if you keep the body low. So we're going to spread those fingers across the mat, and we're going to start to lift the hips up and wedge the elbows on your shins. And then come forward, bring your toes together once again. And come back. Now we're going to cross those ankles and drop down to the buttocks. Slide your feet back one at a time. And bring your fingertips to the front of your mat. And lift that left leg in the air. Just move that left foot around, moving back into extension. Circle the left leg. And we're going to do a half of a very traditional yoga pose called the bow pose or Dhanurasana. So we're going to reach back for the outside of your left ankle. And if you feel you can, lift off your right elbow, lift the chest, lift your gaze in the air. Ardha Dhanurasana. Hold there. Deepen your breaths. Now, we're going to combine a few poses here. So we're going to roll over to couch pose, roll over to your right side, and then we're going to bring that left heel to the inside of your thigh, and then into a side tree. Open that hip. Bring your arms together. So you're leaning on your left shoulder. Bring your arms together. And let's bring those hands back onto the mat. And this time into a small cobra. Look up. Breathe in. If you can, bring those arms back. Turn the head to your right. So we're going to perform that same entire sequence on the other side. So we're going to bring those fingertips to the front of the mat. Our elbows are down. And we're going to lift our right leg off the ground. Circle it around. Get ready to reach back for the outside of your right ankle. And if you're ready, come off that left elbow. Look up in the air. Ardha Dhanurasana here. Hold on to that. Keep lifting your chest up high. Deepen your breaths. Now come on down into the mat. Slide your left arm out. Roll over to your left hip. Find yourself in couch pose and then slowly open that right hip. Slide your right heel to the inside of your left thigh. Side tree. Arms together. Balance on that left side of the body. Then hands down. Lower those legs. Come up to that half cobra. Bring the arms behind you. Lift your chest there. Deep breaths in. Then drop that right ear, stretching the right side of your neck. Now bring your forehead to the ground. Bring your hands underneath your chest. Fingertips at the nipple line of your chest. Shrug your shoulders and start to come up to a higher cobra or to upward dog. Lift the chest as high as you can. Deepen your breaths. And if you feel you're able, slide onto the top of your feet, suspending your thighs. Start to press on the top of your feet. Drive the navel to your spine. Curl your toes under and move to the heels as you pull back into the downward dog. Tuck your chin into your chest. Stretch that spine long. Deepen your breaths. Take your right hand over to the outside of your left calf and twist your dog. and replace your right hand. Then take your left hand over to your right calf and twist your dog. Now replace your hands. Slide your right leg forward on the mat. And then come back. We're going to slide that left leg all the way around. And bring it to the outside of your right knee into half Lord of the Fishes. Let's take our right arm up and over to your left leg. Press against that leg, looking over your left shoulder. And come back down. Swing your left leg around. Hands onto the mat. Return to your down dog. Stretch all the way back. Now this time, we're going to lift that right heel in the air. If you want to give this a try, take your left arm up and grab that right foot. Let your head continue pulling down to the mat. Release your right foot. Take your left leg in the air. Take your right hand back to your left big toe. Start to drop that head down. Replace your right hand. Keep your left leg in the air and swing that left leg forward. Come over to your left hip and then take your right leg all the way around to the outside of your left knee. Left arm is up and over your right knee into half Lord of the Fishes. Now bring your feet together. Sit as close to the heels as you feel comfortable. Bring your hands back behind you. Separate your heels so they're hip distance apart. And we're going to move into our table. So pull the shoulder blades down and back. Start to push into the heels and then up in the air. Take your gaze back. Using the strength of those hamstrings, the strength of the rhomboids, strength of those quads, strength of the glutes. Slowly return to your mat. Scoot back and into staff pose. Bring the arms up in the air, full forward fold. Drop the head down. Come back up, and we're going to start to move down into the mat. Take a deep breath, and let's reach up in the air. Extend that spine again, and slowly start to come down. Now, I want you to engage your core. Drive the navel into your spine and lift those feet off the floor in Ardha Navasana, the half boat. And this is going to be our second to last pose. Our last pose is going to be Savasana, corpse pose. So please continue to review our program, but I'm going to close by saying Namaste. Until next time, thank you for joining us today. Let's come down. Use your folded mat to support your knees if you choose. And let the legs open. Drop the head down, relax your face, get comfortable and remain there, focusing just on your breaths in and out through the nose with your mouth closed.